Hi, thanks for joining me today. We're going to discuss well-being, more specifically setting expectations. The title of this program is "'Tis the Season to Be Jolly." Setting expectations, not the table. We're going to discuss cultivating resilience, patience, and gratitude, and also discuss stress and the impact of stress on the body. Is anyone feeling particularly jolly or grateful? I know times are tough and things are stressful. We're going to talk a little bit about how we can flip the script and have a different perspective on what is turning out to be quite an extended period of uncertainty. As I said, we're going to talk about stress, and that includes the good. Yes, there is some good, and also the not so good. We're going to go over tools and practices to help everyone stay grounded despite the stress. Those tools and practices are largely grounded in mindfulness. We're also going to focus on resilience, patience, and gratitude. The goal, or one of the goals today, is to learn how we can discover joy and happiness through contentment. We're going to talk about some brain science that supports that thinking and how we can have more expectations that our daily lives are enough, even if we're in lockdown, stuck in COVID quarantine with kids, whatever the situation may be, that through contentment we can actually find happiness. We're going to also talk about some challenges arising from COVID. Specifically, we're talking about the challenges arising from COVID, but really it's just the impact of the pandemic. There's an impact that on minorities and women particularly. There's also been a big impact on mental health, and that affects everybody. We're going to learn how to frame a response to those challenges. So instead of just reacting and living in stress, we're going to learn how to pause, frame a smart, sustainable response, even when we're super stressed out. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that through resilience, patience, gratitude, also a little bit of mindfulness. You may be asking yourself, well, why you, Danny Berry? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about my background for context because I think it's important. I'm not a psychologist by trade, but I love studying about the brain and the brain science and how stress impacts our bodies. I grew up in a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia. Typical middle-class household, I believe. My parents did get divorced when I was about in third grade. Never remarried, either parent. I didn't really have good context for relationships other than what I observed, and I became a really good observer and kind of a chameleon. So I could go anywhere, I could fit in with anybody. And my parents taught me that we're not emotional people. So that means no I love you growing up, not a lot of hugs, not a lot of other support, emotional support. And that lack of emotional support included no I love yous. And so I was taught that we really shoved our emotions down. We suppressed our emotions. And sometimes that turned to resentment, sometimes guilt, and sometimes shame. And to be honest, I still have a hard time distinguishing between guilt and shame. But I think I feel guilty quite often and work on that. I was taught, particularly by my mom, that I could do whatever I wanted to do, and I truly believed that. I was also kind of informed that because I was good at arguing, I should be a lawyer or consider being a lawyer. And so I made that decision pretty early on. I made that decision largely out of fear as a child that, like my mom, I could end up divorced, and I didn't want to be in a position where I couldn't support myself or have a consistent job. Not saying that she didn't have a consistent job or was unable to support herself, but it seemed like she struggled at times, and I didn't want to struggle like that.